Okay, beautiful stuff. Good afternoon, everybody, from wherever in the world you're joining us from. Massive welcome. Welcome to a brand new month. It is April. There's no April Fools from our perspective this month. It's all serious business, right? We have a massive month planned ahead. And this is just a catch up to start the week off to let you know what are the items you need to know that you need to be aware of in the markets and so much more. So just a massive shout out wherever you're joining us from. Please do leave a comment. Let us know where you're joining, where you're watching us from. Are you at work? Are you at home? City, country? We'd love to hear from you guys. So we have a pretty massive month lined up ahead, right? We've got a few fundamental data points. As you guys know, it is NFP Friday this Friday, so we will see volatility on Friday. But if you're brand new to trading, if this all seems like gibbly gosh to you, just also let us know if it's your first time here. But if you're a brand new trader, we're receiving a lot of people into the community who are new traders into the free environment, as well as new traders into Premium Plus. Now, I just want to touch on this for a second because I believe it's super important. So the free community as well as Premium Plus, if someone signs up that we see has a funny username or funny email, funny bio, whatever the case may be, we generally decline them. Even if they pay, we decline, they send their money back, right? However, we've been looking at the type of people we've been declining. People message us back and say, hey, they're genuinely interested in trading. They're from a different country, whatever the case may be. They want to pay the subs. They want to be a part of our community. So we've been quite strict about how we let people into the community. Now, we're going to start to be a little bit less strict about that, specifically in the free community. Now, the issue with this, and the thing I want everybody just to be aware of, is we may have people join our community. We've chosen the school platform because of how secure it is. There's some major names that are getting involved in school, that are promoting school for their own businesses. We're talking about multi-billion dollar businesses. The issue that we're finding, that we may find, is that people come into the groups and they start to inbox people, say, hey, do you know about this? Or, hey, what about that? They ask for an opinion about something, or they ask, have you done this? Or what sort of signals? Trying to solicit business elsewhere. Now, the thing I can encourage and maybe ask everybody to do is when you get a message like that, screenshot the message and send it to us, right? You have access to me, you have access to Marsha, you have access to the support department, you have access to Garwin, you have access to all of us. Just inbox one of us the fact that somebody's messaged you. If it makes you feel funny in any kind of way, if someone just messaged and asked how you're doing, no harm, no foul. But the second you believe that they're trying to solicit business or trying to get you to join something or pay for something or whatever the case may be, you're welcome to inbox us, right? So the group is going to start to grow quite substantially. We can just be a little bit less strict, because we've been blocking people who legitimately want to come and learn and just understand what we do. And we've been referred from somewhere elsewhere, right? With clients from all over the world joining at the moment. So just that quick item, rather safe than sorry across the board. All right, we're all on the same page. If you're on the same page, just drop in the comments. Let me know we're on the same page. I just want to read through some of the comments here. Just greet you guys all. This beautiful afternoon. I can see Garvin's in the house, Petunia, David, Vaynard's in the house, Rian, Hein, Petunia, Capano, Frank. Welcome to this live session. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's jump into the markets. What do we need to know of what's happening? Now, obviously, I very quickly mentioned that we have NFP on Friday. Now, we have a few other events around the world busy happening. We've got a few interest rates decisions that are happening, a few other items happening, but none that I believe will really shake the market or break price market structure as it's currently set, right? There are a few things that the world's busy talking about that I obviously just want to clarify if you obviously pick up some of these articles and it may confuse you, just to provide a little bit of context, right? So the first one that I want to quickly chat about, and I'm just going to take away our little chat box there for a second, is there's a couple articles saying unemployment is rising in parts of the US, and that's not all a bad thing. Now, it may seem like this headline is an oxymoron, but for the first time in a long time, and rarely, right, they're actually reporting things accurately, right? So as we've discussed in the past, part of the Fed's goal in terms of the states is to get that unemployment rate slightly higher, right? There's a very, very hot, strong labor market that is basically causing a big struggle in terms of them to bring down inflation. One of the things they need to do is bring unemployment back up to a manageable level, right? I believe it's about 4.4%. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but they need that to tick slightly higher. So to cool off the labor market, creates a bit better price stability and have a better tackle on inflation. So unemployment rising in the US seems like a negative thing. It's actually a good thing, not necessarily for the dollar, but specifically for the hopes that there'll be interest rate cut June, July, and this is obviously a good thing for US 30 gold, stocks, commodities across the board. Anything priced against the dollar, bad for the dollar, good for everything else. So this seems like a negative thing, but it's actually a good thing. Now, moving on into just some of the S&P 500 heat map, we are obviously experiencing a little bit of a ranging market, right? Obviously, the last week we had a very difficult trading week, and I'm going to show you some of the examples of where we miss a trade or where a trade might go wrong, right? I've spent quite a bit of time really meditating and thinking on, how do we avoid some of these false positives, right? Whether it be a breakout, whether it be a price movement, whatever the case may be, specifically in a ranging market. Now, as you can see here, you've got some items up quite substantially and you've got some items that are down, but this is pretty similar or pretty normal for a ranging market. Nothing really stands out, not too much green, not too much red, and this is based on the S&P 500. So this is Wall Street specific, right? Now, what I'm about to show you is obviously where we have some of these issues in the markets and where we sometimes get it wrong, and where unfortunately our risk tolerance doesn't allow us to increase or handle a bigger swing. And you can then decide for yourself on a signal perspective what you would like to do there. Now, the one thing we are going to be trying differently from April is how I communicate with everybody, right? And often, sometimes I just want to jump on a live and give you guys an update. We're in X and Y trade. I'm doing this, the copy trade's doing that, you may want to do X, Y, or Z, right? And obviously it's pretty hard to pre-schedule a show and send links and whatever the case may be. So I'm going to be a lot more active in Telegram in terms of sending videos, right? So it might be a quick video of me saying, hey guys, we're in this position, this is what it looks like, I'm doing this because I believe X, Y, and Z, to allow that a little bit more bit of flexibility. Now, if you're a Premium Plus client and you're getting signals in Telegram, we obviously have the new April group, which is obviously here behind me. I've posted this into Premium Plus. So if you're watching this after the fact, you're going to jump in there, open up and you'll see all the settings that you obviously need to get in there, right? So that's for April. So the new Telegram group link, the settings for copy trade, everything you need is right there in Premium Plus. So that's available to you. Now, that is where I'm going to be speaking a little bit more, or have a little bit more of a easier way of engaging with you guys, in the sense that I can do a little live and take a quick video, 30 seconds, and you can see it directly on Telegram. So a lot more of these quick, this is what you need to knows are going to happen within Telegram, and that'll be really trade specific. We're in a German 30 trade. It's running great. There is some news coming up. We're moving our stop loss to break even. So obviously the team will say, hey, move stop loss to break even. But sometimes there's just a little bit more context that's required, and that's what Telegram allows us to do. And that's where I'm going to be communicating more of those types of things. So let me give you an example of what happened this morning. So I was very, very keen to get the copy trade going, to start running some setups. And this is what happened this morning. And it's a great example just to give you guys a little bit of a teaching over, why we do certain things, right? So this morning, I'm going to bring your attention over to German 30. So this morning we were looking at German 30 in terms of this, very big bull move here. We obviously knew that German 30 topped out on Friday on the 28th, early hours of the morning, and kind of retraced a little bit off. Now, the start of today, we received some big bull candles into this territory, and I'm just going to break it down a little bit closer. So the candle that I was looking at this morning that really made me look for a German 30 sell side position was the fact that we had a monster push. This was about 9:05. Remember, GMT at the moment is +1 on your charts. So if you're reading 1400 hours, this candle, it's actually 1 o'clock, which is right now. So at about 9:05, I saw a big push, a big rejection, so an engulfing candle, right? A massive rejection, a great sign that price has been rejected from this level, and we may have some downside opportunity. So I was looking at preparing some sell side orders just after that, right? At about just before 10 o'clock, and then we got a massive push through. Now, example, how I would have dealt with this as a trade, right? From a trade perspective. Now, I'm not going to make different colored boxes, but I'm just going to show you here is I would generally look at that area, being the area of most liquidity, or at least, sell side liquidity. So breakthrough, a push through. This is where our sellers will be gathered, right? And I'll maybe just mark this off as a bit of a red here. Okay, and then everything else below that, we'll start to look for TPs, right? So we'll start to look at all of this market structure here, and we'll start to look at TPs. Now I know I can do this on TradingView, and it's a lot better and it's labeled, but we would start to then look at retracements, right? And how far could this retrace, and where would be those TP or those value, those demand and supply zones, right? Those extra areas of liquidity. Now, what we saw happen, right, is exactly, a little bit of institutional wicks that happened in here, and that would have pushed past a stop loss. And what you'll notice if you look at some of the signals, some of the setups that we do, for the month of April, right, on the trades that went well, they went well. There's no issues there. We can't comment on a trade that went well. It did its job. There's nothing further to study. What we spend a lot of our time doing is studying trades that didn't necessarily go so well. That's where we spend a lot of our time. And what I found is that we often, when we're looking at a stop loss, we're looking at a risk zone, we're looking at that risk zone, we're trying to pack it in as tight as possible in fear of a stop loss, right? And this is something that has hampered me quite a bit doing the copy trade. When it's my own trade, I'll put in a stop loss, I'll see where it should be, and I'll add some fat just because, right, with my own trades. When we're looking at copy trade, when we're so cognizant that there's so many people out there that are dependent on the system to work and dependent on the profits and dependent on these things, we then end up tightening those zones. We say, okay, that's where it should be, and that's where it's going to stay. Right, and you'll see a lot of the trades that we call out, even a lot of the trades on copy trade that maybe did not go the way we wanted to, the direction was correct, the risk was wrong, or the timing was wrong. So there's quite a bit of improvements we're bringing into April in terms of that risk parameter. Now, there's nothing you need to do if you're a Premium Plus copy trade client. These are all things we do on our side, but it's just to take you through some of the understanding of what are the things we experience and what are the changes that we're making to bring a better product, right? Our goal is to consistently every month hit and or exceed that 20% on copy trade. So it's just a bit of a thought and a theory that I obviously want to talk you guys through. Now, in terms of what's actually happening on German 30, right, German 30 has broken a bit of a structure here, not a long-term structure, but at least a 2-week trading structure. This last bull leg has kind of started to make a little bit of a breakout here, right? Now, in an hour, we can sort of see that from a trend line perspective, and you'll see that we've just pushed into the next zone, but we haven't necessarily broken it or done anything substantial there. So German 30 will need to make an extended push. We may still have an opportunity to get in through a sell here, but we need to break this previous leg that we've kind of retraced off of. So we made that push down, pull back, we're retracing, we're hitting back into a level here, or an order block here, and then we should start to see a little bit of further push down there, right? Now, couple this up with where we see US 30 currently sitting. This is US 30 currently on a 4-hour time frame. Also some very interesting things currently happening in US 30, and then I'm going to move over to NASDAQ, which is also pretty interesting. And then we'll wrap up with some gold. So if we have a look at the US 30, otherwise known as the Dow Jones, right? Last week, we were looking for those bull breakout structures. We gave some buys. It was a pretty good time. And then obviously we had Powell come in, right? And obviously just, wreck the markets with his positive optimism there, right? And Powell's speech basically took US 30 and absolutely rallied it. We got a bit of a pullback, and markets kind of perfectly settled above the previous high, right? So just to give you a little bit of an idea, we've got this ascending triangle, equal highs, rising lows, ascending triangle. Powell speaks. That was on the 21st. On the 20th, markets absolutely rocket through this level, come back, find a good support over that previous high. And now we're kind of, if we use our parallel trend level, we're starting to see a little bit of a new price action that US 30 is setting for us. Right now, why this is interesting is that Powell's, influx of, again, he was quite dovish. He was fairly calm and sympathetic to the market, which investors loved. Wall Street loved. Gold, US 30, NASDAQ, all of them loved that because, again, he was sympathetic towards the state of the economy, highly indicating there's very likely going to be at least 2 or 3 interest rate cuts for the year. Investors want to hear that, right? Drives down the value of the dollar, which has been rampant, and fuels all these other areas, right? Which it has and it is. So we saw that happen. Price shot through, found support there. But if we look at where we are now, right, in this channel, this is a very, very key moment in time. So specifically what we see for the NYSE Open today, considering we don't have any big fundamental US data news, this is really going to show us the natural price movement that the Dow Jones wants to take. And if we start to see a little bit of a tick up here, right, we're going to be able to potentially catch that through some price action. But primarily, the one thing we are going to be majorly looking out for is crushing that level there, right? That level will also be significant in terms of the past market structures. If you'll see here, everything substantial happened above and below this level. So superior level there, support / resistance. In this case, the resistance. And so we want to see if price can break out that 39,500, 39,530 level. That will give us some trigger orders into a buy. Inversely, right? Should we see a bit of a parallel effect between German 30 breaking to some new lows and US 30 breaking to some new lows? It'll then force us also to have a look quite heavily at the NASDAQ, right? In the sense that the NASDAQ on a 4-hour, very similar thing, and almost just dragged my level completely away. But NASDAQ, similar type of setup. However, in this particular case, we can't really see all too much that it's failing, just that it's currently on support, right? So again, if we see a very strong New York open, right? So we see if the NYSE open is extremely strong, we see some real bull activity here. This will trigger us to get into longs, both on the US 30 as well as NASDAQ, and even potentially on gold, but organically at support, right? I think that's the important term, organically at support. So it's not fueled by any external news. It's not fueled by any sort of press release, organically at support. And this is what we're seeing on the US 100, on the US 30. German 30 has kind of broken through that, shown us a little bit of weakness, may potentially be coming to the downside. Now, the only additional factor that we could just focus on, we'll just take into consideration when talking about US 30, German 30, sorry, is it's also quite affected by European news, right? Now, there is inflation, interest rate data coming out for the German 30, and that might just be a little bit of scare tactics, a little bit of panic selling on the German 30 due to the unknown, right? You've heard the term, sell the news, and that's just because people fear the unknown, right? The unknown is more scary than a potential positive move. So the German 30 is still going to be subject to some external events. Having a look at gold, this is going to be very interesting. So let's talk about it, right? So I'm going to go back to an hour time frame, and this is kind of where we were last week, right? So here's Powell, right? Papa Powell, right? We had an ascending triangle. Powell did his thing, absolutely dominated. Now remember, we had some buys on gold during Powell's announcement. We had some buys on US 30. We had some buys on US 100. So if you missed that, you weren't part of that, you weren't part of Premium Plus, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. Also, additionally, I just got to let you guys know, Premium Plus pricing changes tonight at midnight, right? It's been, the pricing that we've held for the time that we've held it is basically been ridiculous, right? We've increased staff and services and products substantially since when we launched at that price last year. It is now time for a change. So I've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of messages about, can we hold it for an additional week, month? We can't, right? So from midnight tonight, all new members, so not existing members, only new members, we're paying $59 a month, which is still the best value proposition anywhere else in the world right now for signals, for copy trade, for education, for analysis, for a social trading, for a social area, for mentorship support, live shows, etc. So there's a lot of value there. You can kind of make your pick. Now, our goal is not to increase clients. Our goal is to have quality clients, right? So we're going over quality over quantity. We have no goal in having 1,000 Premium Plus members, right? I need Premium Plus members that I can engage with, that we can have meetings with, that we can have mentorships and live shows with. That's what I really care about. Quality over quantity in this lifetime. Okay, so we talk about Powell's movements, right? Powell did his thing. You guys have heard that summary. You're welcome to go and rewatch that, right? If you're a Premium Plus client, you can go back into your calendar and you can actually rewatch that session of where I said, hey, this is exactly what's going to happen. I actually believe it was a free session. So you can have a look at that. Not last week, the week before Wednesday at 11 o'clock. That session's there. So Powell did his thing, massive bull move over there. And we started that retracement, right? And we started to make those three levels there that we drew, and we were really, really keen on last week shorting this level, which I did, but then we got a little bit of a spike. We were taken out of our short and lost kind of any sort of will or desire to go long here. Friday, we missed the boat on a lot of trades. A lot of our drawdown actually came in on Friday, and that's just bad Friday trading, honestly speaking. And we had some buy stops sitting on gold. We did not activate them. But anyway, gold did its thing. Anyway, I'm not here to woo-ha and cry, but gold did its thing, right? Gold pushed new high. We into $22,200 per ounce territory, which is massive, right? But let's just focus on where we are right now and what opportunities currently exist. So $22.64, so $2,200 and $2,264.24. We made that a little bit of a pullback. We've made a high, but we've basically made a double top here, right? We've basically squared out at that level. Now we've made a bit of a pull down, right? So a bit of a pullback. Now I've got two levels I want to show you guys here. So first I'm going to delete this level just to show you why I'm looking so heavily at this and why that level being rejected is of such importance. So I'm going to drop down to 15 minutes and I want you to see this, right? So originally we had this bull market structure, right? Prices were kind of handling and respecting support. There was a period of indecision early hours this morning about 4:15. Price rocketed back up to that level of indecision, couldn't get above it, rocketed back up to the level of indecision, couldn't get it past it. And these are all previous levels, right? And then finally price spiked out at 11:30 this morning, right? But look at what price did. Rejected or broke through, retest, third retest, and price collapsed to this current level there. Now, what we're looking out for as traders right now is I'm looking at this as being an extremely key level, right? 2,255. And should we, I've already given an order to the team, should we start to break down this level, we will then obviously start to chase some short positions. Obviously being aware, the US market opens in 30 minutes, so we don't want to get caught in just inverse volatility, but this represents both buying and selling opportunities. The base buy opportunities obviously exist breaking through this triple top here. So everything above this $2,266 will start to represent buy opportunities, and everything below, I'd basically say 2,254 would start to be our shorting areas, right? Everything in between, dead man's zone, no man's land. This is just scalper's territory, right? A few pips here and there, nothing too much to write about. However, just also so that everybody's aware, a short opportunity here would require a stop loss, right? A maximum stop loss, right? And this is obviously a big one. This would be about 100 pips, right? So if you're following it as a signal, you would need an absolute stop loss of 100 pips. A minimum stop loss would be exceeding some of these spikes that we've seen price run through, and that on its own would be about 50-60 pips. So just to be aware, right? Obviously the downside opportunity is substantial, potentially anywhere in the region of 600 pips, right, is where this could potentially run to. So 50 pip stop loss for a 600 pip TP, you're sitting with a 12 reward to risk ratio, which I think is still pretty good. So there's a lot busy happening in the world, there's a lot busy happening in the markets, but just to give you some of the understanding and some of the thinking of where we're at, just give a quick recap. German 30 still sitting at that low, US 30 still sitting at that low. If anything, it might even be teetering on trying to break through, which is very, very interesting. NASDAQ also sitting there. And what we're going to look out for as a clear sign, because we've got all of these items sitting on support right now, is we're looking for a very clear sign from the market that there may be a potential run through that price level and a potential sell-off across the board. And that is what you generally want, right? You'll often see in times in the market where NASDAQ is rallying, US 30 is selling, gold is kind of sideways. It's not a market you ideally want to be in. You want to be in a market where there's a consensus over, as an example, if these items have to start selling off, that's a consensus of a strengthening of the dollar. The dollar goes up, these items come down because they're priced in dollars. When the dollar goes up, you can buy less and less of gold, US 30, NASDAQ, the same dollar equivalent or same dollar value. So they all move together, and we got that convergence or confluence across the board. That's a great sign to get in some safe trades towards the downside. So that's currently what we're looking at. There's obviously quite a bit happening this week. I'm going to be sitting today and looking at the Premium Plus shows for this week. So I want to get into some more live trading. So I want to try and position us into that New York Stock Exchange open where it's nice and sticky. We've got a lot of volume, a ton of chaos busy happening in the market, and I want to get back into some live trading with you guys on Premium Plus. So again, if I haven't mentioned it before, or if you didn't hear me loud enough, Premium Plus goes up for new members only. If you're an existing member and your payments have gone through, if you're an existing member, your price structure stays at the current price. If you're a brand new member, right, meaning you sign up tomorrow, the new price is $59. So if you want to save a couple $100 this year in some of your subscriptions and memberships, then best thing you do is jump in Premium Plus today before this evening, secure that $30 a month. It will save you, I don't know, about $300 something odd a year by jumping in at that price. There on after, please don't cry, please don't say I didn't say anything. There on after, from tomorrow, it's $59 a month, only for brand new members. Just a disclaimer. Okay, so I say that, guys, listen, we have a jam-packed month. We are super excited to be starting a new month with you guys. We've had a ton of fun over March. We've learned a bunch of things. We've implemented a few changes. In addition, there's also going to be some changes in school and I don't want to take up too much time talking about this. There'll be some changes in school and how we populate and format trades. So instead of each trade being a post and you've just got this endless thing of posts, we want to format it a little bit differently, right? So we're going to have an indices, we're going to have a commodities and a Forex tab on the signal side, right? So it'll be one post and every new trade will become a comment of that post. So it'll be gold, what is gold, how to trade it, what's the risk, etc. Nice little description. And then the new trades will come in under that. And you're welcome then to comment, add a screenshot, your progress, your results, etc. But it keeps a nice healthy balance of where we are. You can go to, if you like gold, if you like commodities, you can follow gold signals, right? If you like indices only, you can follow indices only. You don't get notified, and you won't get notified about gold. Obviously, in your Telegram group, you get notified about everything. But we just wanted a better filing structure or storage structure for all of our trades. So it's just a bit easier to find, a bit easier to access if you are on the school platform. All right. So a bunch of other things coming. We'll announce them as we go. For today, I've posted on Premium Plus the new Telegram group link. So if you're part of the old Telegram group link, that will no longer receive any trades and signals. And the reason we do that is we have some members come in, some members go out. A lot of people's cards fail, which is obviously brutal to see. And obviously we don't wish that on anybody. But if your card declines and your payment doesn't go through, obviously we can't keep you in a group that hasn't received payment. So that's why we create new groups and all the new members are able to join the new group. So it's a bit of a headache, but we're trying to navigate the best we can and obviously make sure everybody's safe at the end of the day. So outside of that, guys, listen, we appreciate you. We love you as always. So happy to be live again with you guys all. I will be populating the calendar for the rest of the live shows. Until then, we're going to post some signals. We're going to push on the copy trade. Let's see if we can break some records this month. So listen, we appreciate you. We love you. If you're brand new, if this is your first time in this trading journey, go to the classroom area, start your learning process, go through psychology, go through trades, go through all these things. Risk management is absolutely key. Until I see you guys all a bit later, you know the drill. Goodbye.